Hello there, welcome to step 5 of my Paragon tutorial series. I am Sylphin. This video, we are in the off lane as a Greystone. The previous video, we were a carry with a support fighting an enemy hero in the right lane. Now we are that hero that we were fighting in the respective left lane. We're going to talk about the off lane, what the role is, what kind of heroes fit well, what kind of cards really work well, and what are some good strategies you need to know. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, select versus AI and your difficulty level and hit play. We're going to be selecting Greystone, a wonderful, wonderful offlaner that is very suited for learning this role. Very, very forgiving for beginner players. The offlane is all about surviving against the odds. So open up your card shop and head to Vitality Tank. This is probably the best starter deck here for the offlane and as a Greystone, as they can provide us a good option to survive that 1 versus 2 nature. As you can see, there is a lot of vitality in this deck, so head on over and select your first point into vitality. What we're going to get is Exoskeleton that reduces total damage taken from enemy heroes by 6. This is really important to stay alive in that off lane. Use your jump pad and head on over to the left lane, which is also called the off lane. Now, just like the mid lane, I always suggest getting your mobility card first, and that is Assault the Gates. This ability lets us leap to a target location, preferably safely, and helping us getting away. Now you can notice here that I'm not running straight into the enemy heroes as a melee hero, which what Greystone is. All what you are supposed to do as an offlaner is get the hero experience. As you can see, on whenever an enemy minion dies, you'll see a blue little XP bar come up. That means that we have gained that experience. It is very important to be close enough to your minions that kill that minion to gain that hero experience. The off lane role is almost opposite that of the carry. You're just here for hero experience and not necessarily to farm gold through last hits. You simply need to stay alive and just kind of try to be safe as possible. There will be a time later on for you to shine and for you to farm and for you to get into the action, but right now you just need to survive. Now, with that said, it is possible for you to be aggressive enough to get some last hits, to kill those enemy minions when they are in that red state. You just have to be very careful of doing it. Only do that if you have the health, to not instantaneously die, and if you can predict when the enemy is going to do their thing. Remember to always be upgrading your abilities, as soon as we hit hero level 5 here in the off lane, the tide is going to change here, as we will get a good power spike. Why are we only caring about hero experience and not necessarily in getting these last hits? Because as you can see, the enemy duo here is hero level 3 and we are hero level 4. Hero experience is split. People don't get equal amounts of it. It is split to nearby enemies. So the enemy duo here has to share the hero experience of the lane while I get it all. That gives us a hero level advantage where we are able to get abilities and kind of overcome the enemy through hero levels. Here Here the Gadget is deciding to stay, so I'm actually going to take her out as she was trying to get back to her Twin Blast. Now with our ultimate called Reforged, Greystone has a very special mechanic. On death, he simply resurrects. He doesn't actually die. He then applies a slow to all nearby enemy units, deals ability damage, and he heals back to 40% health. So now that we have basically 2 lives, we are going to be much more aggressive here and just go to town against this Twin Blast and the Gadget. You still have to be careful, and you still have to spend that gold here on good cards. As always, try to steal this gold buff whenever you can. Somebody like Greystone can use his Assault the Gates to jump up from the river to up here to steal this gold buff. Always try to be stealing that gold buff, as it's simply free gold. In the offlane, only try to go back to base here from a safe location once the wave has been pushed close to the enemy towers, or they've simply left base, left the lane, because they can push that tower really, really fast. As we see here, we're going to get Green Spring. Gives us basic armor, which will mitigate a lot of the damage that the enemy team is doing right now, and give us health regen while out of combat. That is kind of the whole theme of the offlane. Sustainability. How much can you stay alive and keep the duo here at bay? When the lane is pushed up, and maybe it's not safe to go so close to the enemy tower, you can actually take down this camp here in the weak side jungle. There is our tier 1 tower. It's simply this camp right here, and an even more special camp, this black camp right here. What this black camp does, and we'll go into more of this in the jungle guide, is it gives us the ability to see nearby allies, and when we basic attack an enemy hero, they are slowed tremendously. So basically, as we're going to see here on this Twin Blast, I can stick to him like glue and basically take him down. Remember, we have 2 lives through Greystone's ultimate ability, so it doesn't matter if they deal much damage on our first life, because we basically have another life. As an offlaner, destroying the enemy team's left tier 1 tower is very important. Once you kill this tower, that really opens up the map for you to rotate. We talked about rotating in the previous video when we were the carry, and it's very important as an offlaner, because what we can do is really pressure this lane here, and then we can rotate to other lanes. As a offlaner, it's your job to continually push this lane, draw enemies to deal with you. As you saw there, the Twin Blast and the Gadget had to come over and deal with us, and that enables our team, which you can actually see they're doing it right now. They're pushing the mid lane hard. That gives them the space to push that lane hard. Now that the Twin Blast and the Gadget are now alive, again, looking at your HUD to see that they are alive, it's not safe for us to be in the left lane, so I'm going to rotate over to my team here in the mid lane and help them out. I'm going to help them out here and just have another body that we can throw into the fight here and maybe get this inhibitor. That is great rotations from the offlaner. You need to make sure that that lane is heading in the right direction. You are pushing the left lane, but you are also then rotating when it's unsafe to push that lane. Now, when it comes to cards for offlaners, usually an offlaner tends to be a melee hero that can be very tanky or have a lot of health and armor. So cards that have lots of health and armor usually have a lot of vitality, and a little bit of agility, although they can also have some knowledge as well, or intellect. As you can see here, Yomi Guardian and Unbroken Spirit, fantastic cards that give us health, armor, and some power as well, along with some really interesting passives and actives. What we're going to do here is actually end up getting Thorned Yomi Guardian, which also enables us to protect our allies as well. So health, armor, and power, exactly what you want as a offlaner. Now, it is also possible to be a caster in the offlane. Basically, somebody just like Gideon, but play them in the offlane. At that point, you're simply just a different kind of offlaner that's focused more on damage and kind of damaging the enemy team duo in order to kind of have that sustain. You basically bully them back, and through damage instead of through health. Now, what we can also do, instead of rotating to help our team, when we notice that a lot of enemy heroes are dead, such as right now, we can do something that's called split pushing. Split pushing is basically just pushing a lane, except with the intention of actually getting down a tower and getting some advantage from it. So split pushing is basically what we're doing right now. Well, I know that the Serath is dead. The Twin Blast is probably heading on his way right now. So we're going to back off and try to split push this, or rotate if it's not safe for me to be here, or my enemy team, or my friendly team needs. In a team fight, basically most offlaners end up being heavy-duty frontliners. They are pretty tanky, that can also deal some good damage, that really kind of sits there and absorbs the damage. You are either protecting your carry, such as the Sparrow in this game, and protecting them from somebody like the enemy offlaner, or if you have the advantage and maybe the enemy carry is out of position, you are sticking onto them like glue and putting the harassment to a high value target on the enemy team. That is what an offlaner is. Basically, you kind of help protect your carry if necessary, or what you can do is harass the enemy, the enemy backline if necessary. And that's basically it, ladies and gentlemen. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this guide. You're going to see the Greystone ultimate there as a offlaner. We learned that they are usually tankier heroes, usually melee, but casters can go in there as well. It's all about surviving, staying alive, getting hero experience, and not necessarily gold. You try to survive against the odds, push that lane as much as you can, and especially once you get that first tower down, that's when you can rotate, either when it's not safe to do so by looking at your minimap, or when your team needs you to help win the game. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Please let me know if you have any questions down in the comments. Please like this video if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it, share it with the community. Of course, guys, subscribe. If you guys like this content, especially if you found it useful, the rest of my tutorial series is here. Till next time, like always, stay optimistic and positive.